All right, national championship talk is back. Drew Griffith ran an amazing time this weekend at MileStat. Is he the guy to be at the national level?
This was a really fun question to answer as we were kind of pondering and reflecting on it. Without a doubt, Drew Griffith has been on our radar for some time. And I think right now he has a huge target on his back. The way that he ran this weekend was absolutely incredible, and I feel like it elevated himself. So I personally, to answer this question of is Drew Griffith the guy to beat, I think he's one of the top contenders that you need to look out for. I know, as I mentioned, week upon week upon week, there's at least 5 guys I can think of right now that I'm like, we got to look out for. I don't think there's one right now that like has one upper hand over the other. I think it's pretty...
You don't think there's an actual like #1 favorite in the nation?
I think, honestly, if you're going to go just, you know, what Daniel Simmons has done this year, I feel like people automatically gravitate towards him, as you should, with everything that he's done. He's one of the top, he is the top returner from NXN. But I wouldn't count out Drew Griffith, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would not count him out. And I think underneath the conditions and the competition that he has faced already, you can't underestimate him. He's been undefeated. This weekend, he went 14:21 for 5K on the Pool Green Park. To break down some stats here, this is the 16th fastest 5K performance of all time. It's the fastest time in Pennsylvania history. And when you think of the guy that held this, was Gary Martin, who went 14:24 at the Running Lane Cross Country Championships, the fastest course, I guess we could say, in America in 2021. And this is the 2nd fastest time on Virginia soil ever. So the fact that Drew Griffith did this in Virginia, taking down Gary Martin's time, I think that really... People should be concerned right now about Drew Griffith and what he's capable of doing, because he's just been so dominant and won the title by 20 seconds.
It was a great performance. Yeah. I think it did elevate him. I think Daniel Simmons is 1. I think Drew Griffith is 2 right now.
Okay.
So, but I don't think Drew's going to go to NXN. I think he's going to Foot Locker. So does that make him the Foot Locker favorite? Possibly. I do think him and Cameron Todd, I would put him and Cameron Todd next to each other right now at Foot Locker. And maybe even... This is another conversation for another day, but Ryan Pajek's running well too.
Yes.
But Drew Griffith, I think, with this performance, answered a lot of things for me. I think a couple weeks back I said, I'm not always sure of the PA guys. I think they do well, and then they go to the national competition, and sometimes they're unsure of just how to respond to that situation. But I think with this, he answered that question for me, because he can run on a tough course like a Parkview in Hershey, the state course. That's really tough. You're not going to run extremely fast there. But then he puts down the fast race here at MileStat, so he can do both things extremely well. Whatever you want to ask of me, I can do it. And Balboa Park at Foot Locker is exactly that. There's some really hard sections. There's some really fast sections. How do you balance that and put that together? Drew Griffith has, I think, capabilities of putting that race together.
Right.
Now, I do want to mention the constraints of Northeast runners historically. At Foot Locker, only 7 Northeast athletes have won it all time since 1979. Last guy from the Northeast to do it was Edward Cheserek, who claimed trophies in 2011 and 2012. Northeast guys have won Foot Locker 7 out of 43 times. So that's 16%. So they're just based on the numbers. The road up for Drew Griffith says he doesn't necessarily. He's not going to get there, but he can kind of combat that by being the next guy.
Yeah.
It's been largely a Midwest race for the last 7 years. So can somebody kind of like throw them off the rock a little bit? And I think Griffith is a perfect guy to do it. So I think this is a really good start, and it'll be fun to see. He's got one of the highest speed ratings too right now. I mean, 2 back-to-back 197s. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, only one other guy's been faster than him, Anthony Fasthorse. So yeah. Okay. Do you have? Or so is he going to win Foot Locker?
I say yes. So do you think he will?
Oh man,
There's just a lot of heavy hitters, like I said.
I'm not. We wrote down our picks, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know.
I can't remember what
I'm not ready to say yes yet, but I am from PA. I hope he proves me wrong.